Hey, thanks for watching Practical Solutions. My name's John, and today we're going to talk about creating a VLAN and a little bit of information on some VLANs to help you out when you're troubleshooting, or if this is your first time even doing it. So, creating a VLAN. What is a VLAN? A VLAN is layer 2. It stands for Virtual Local Area Network. It is a logical network segment. You're going to have multiple VLANs on a switch. What is an SVI? An SVI is a layer 3. It is a switched virtual interface. It's a logical interface. It's also known as a VLAN interface. What does an SVI do? Well, an SVI allows routing and enables inter-VLAN communication, which is the same thing as routing. But just want to put that on there because they kind of go hand in hand. And you'll see inter-VLAN routing and inter-VLAN communication in other videos. So what are we going to go ahead and do? Well, a layer 2 VLAN and a layer 3 VLAN. Let's go ahead and jump into the switch and figure out what the difference is. Inside the switch, config T, and let's go ahead and create our VLAN. So to create a VLAN, you just type in VLAN after config T and then the number you want to use. So we use VLAN 10. For a name, we'll give it a name, call it data. Now, one thing, until you exit out of the interface, do show VLAN brief, the VLAN will not be created. So once we exit, the VLAN will show up. So just keep that in mind as well. Now, if you do create a VLAN and you do not assign it to any ports, it will not be able to be used by those ports. So we've created VLAN 10. Now let's go ahead and assign it to an IP address. Interface gig 02. And let's go ahead and do switch port mode access and switch port access VLAN 10. All right. And let's go ahead and show VLAN brief again. All right, so now we can see that we have VLAN 10 that's been created for data and it's assigned to port gig 02, excuse me. What does that mean? Well, now it's got to be able to go somewhere. So I have to also take that VLAN and put it on a trunk. This is still working with layer 2. There's no IP addresses right now. We're just working on sending certain VLANs or logical segmentations of the network to certain areas. So the next segmentation we're going to create is the trunk, which is going to allow one VLAN or multiple VLANs to go ahead and talk to another switch and go to another device. Or maybe end up going to a router, into a distro switch, somewhere where it's going to be routed. So we'll go ahead and do config T, and we'll jump in interface gig 03, and we'll make gig 03 a trunk. So the first thing you want to do is switch port, trunk encapsulation, and change to .1Q. Then it's going to be switch port, mode, trunk, then switch port, trunk, allowed, VLAN, and then the VLANs you want to go ahead and put over here. We're going to do 10, 20, and 99. If I do a show VLAN brief, yes, it will allow me to put those VLANs on the interface even though I have not created them. But it is up to you, unless you have VTP, which we'll get into another video later on, which is virtual trunking protocol. Unless you have VTP where your switch is joining and learning the VLANs from an actual server, it's not going to have them populated, and you will have to manually configure them. So in this case, let's go ahead and make sure we get the other VLANs created. So VLAN 20, and we'll go ahead, it was VLAN 20, we'll call it name, we'll do VoIP. And then we'll go ahead and do VLAN 99, and name we'll do NMS for Network Management Solution. Now, if I end this, do a show VLAN brief, should be looking a lot better. Okay, so now we have 10, 20, and 99. We've only assigned 10 to an actual port, and that's good enough for now. You'll understand you can do this as well with 20. But let's go ahead and do something specific with VLAN 99. Let's make it a layer 3. So let's create an SVI. So to create an SVI, it's config T. And then the interface, the VLAN that you have created, you want to also create that same VLAN but interface. So config T, interface VLAN 99. Inside of here is where you're going to assign your IP address. So let's say we're using this for a management solution. We'll do IP address, and we'll use just a basic, just something to go ahead and throw on there. We'll do a /24, which you may see in an enterprise network. It is possible. Sometimes they're a little bit smaller, could be even larger. So there we got our /24 on our interface VLAN 99. Now let's do a no shut, and let's end. And let's do show IP interface brief. And there you go. We've created the switched virtual interface, or the SVI, of VLAN 99, and we also have created the VLAN, the layer 2, VLAN 99, which you need to create. Now in some cases, which you will see this in some instances, and I'll show you now, config T, in some devices, let's say you forget to create the VLAN and you already jump into an interface and you already go ahead and you do switch port mode access and you already go switch port access VLAN, and let's say you've never made this before. You put in switch port access VLAN 45. But where is it? Did it get created? Yes, it did. VLAN 45 did get created. Now it doesn't have a name or anything else, but it does have a placeholder in the show VLAN brief, and it is made thanks to Cisco and some software. It is created for you. I wouldn't rely on this because it doesn't necessarily work. I've seen this in some instances on Cisco 9300 switches where this does not work and you end up having to go and create the VLAN itself. So these are things just to look at. Make sure everything's been created and run through your command set that we just reviewed to make sure that everything's being properly tracked. And then, obviously, show interface trunk. Show interface trunk is going to show you the VLANs that have been created and allowed on the trunks and management and in spanning tree. If you see your VLAN on a trunk but you don't see it in spanning tree, make sure that it's in your VLAN brief and also confirm it by show spanning tree. Show spanning tree, and we'll get into this in another video as well because there's a lot about spanning tree. Show spanning tree is going to give you an idea of where those VLANs are going, who's created them, what ports are forwarding them, and then the type and the interface that's going to be doing that action. And that's it. As far as VLANs, that is in a nutshell pretty much how you go ahead and create a layer 2 VLAN, a layer 3 VLAN, add all those VLANs to a trunk, add an IP address to an SVI, and get it prepped and ready for management. If you liked the video, go ahead and let me know. Leave a comment down below if you'd like to see other certain things, or if I misinterpreted anything on here. It's very possible. I appreciate you taking the time to watch these videos. Look forward to adding more, and keep a lookout. Try to add a new video every week. Appreciate it. Take care. This is John, signing off.